Welcome to Abilene Christian University. Our visit today with our art and design department here at ACU. We're excited to showcase this wonderful program with you students and guests today. So thank you for joining us. So we look forward to answering your questions throughout our time together as well. So I'm here in the studio with both the student and the chair of the department. So right over here to your right is Mike Wiggins. He's the chair for the art and design department. And then to my right, your left is a Kate Darty, who is here, a student here at ACU in the art department, as she is a graphic design major. So, all right, we're going to get started talking a little bit about the department here at ACU. But Kate, first, because students love hearing from you and from students, if you could just tell us a little bit about how you chose ACU and why you chose to be a graphic design major.
So all my siblings started here, and my parents came here, so that was kind of a big draw for me. But also, just getting to visit and just kind of fall in love with everything as I walked around the campus and just see how welcoming everybody was and just how much they wanted you to be here genuinely. That was really nice. And then I started out as an environmental science major, but I changed after my freshman year. And I met Arlene, and that was like my first person that I met in the department. She's our head of the department, and I just fell in love with her too. I love her to death. She's like the mom of the department, and she just kind of sold the department to me, and just kind of how intentional they are and just the community that they have. So that was really nice.
ACU is definitely a place with community. We hope you see that today as you get to know more about this department, but across the campus. We really foster community within our academic programs and departments. So I'm going to ask Mike, the chair of the department here, to share a little bit more about the majors you offer within the department. It's pretty robust, and there's lots of opportunities for students.
Yes, so we have kind of 6 main areas of study. So graphic design. Within graphic design, there's 2 different degree plans. There's the BFA in graphic design and graphic design advertising. Then there's interior design and architecture. And then there's the 2 fine art degrees, which are painting, which is a 2-dimensional fine art, and then sculpture, which is kind of the primary 3-dimensional fine art degree that we offer. And then the 6th one is art education. So if you're interested in teaching art at the primary or secondary level. So those are the main majors. We have about 140 majors and 11 full-time faculty in the department.
Lots of options for sure. As Kate said, she changed her major after her freshman year. So students, as you're kind of wrestling with what am I supposed to be when I grow up, and you feel a little bit of pressure, I know especially if you just graduated high school or even you're a rising senior right now, you're feeling a little stressed because everyone's asking you, what are you going to study? And take a deep breath, it's going to be okay. There's over 70 areas of study here at ACU for you to explore. And as Kate did, she went from very much a science-based major and pivoted into the arts when she realized that was a passion for her that she wanted to pursue. So Kate, do you mind talking a little bit about your favorite class in the department and why it's your favorite class?
So my favorite class has probably been, it wasn't a studio actually, it was an art history class. I love Christian art history. Dan McGregor taught that when I took it, and it was just a really good combination for me of 2 of my loves, getting to do art and then getting to learn more about, the word and just seeing how, the Lord could influence the way the arts work, and just seeing kind of the Lord in Dan as he taught, and just getting to learn more about what the department means and where they come from and what we stand for. And so that was my favorite class for sure.
Great. So at ACU, we are a Christian university, and definitely spiritual formation, a Christian worldview is a big part of our teaching and learning environment here at ACU. So Mike, do you mind talking a little bit about how the art department uses Christianity in the classroom and shapes students spiritually through teaching?
I think within the classroom, of course, every faculty member certainly is putting their own spin on that. The way faculty relate to their students, the way they invite them into their homes, and the way they connect with them, I think is it's kind of found in community in that respect. Certainly we may connect scripture with certain concepts that we're teaching, but quite often it's more about the relationships. But then in the department as a whole, the way I think kind of inclusion and being welcome and the way we build community in the department is extremely important from the standpoint of our faith. we do art and design chapel every week through the fall, and then we usually have a different kind of series in the spring. What I love about art and design chapel is it's often our opportunity for the faculty to talk about how their faith interacts with their work and their work interacts with their faith. And then also the other exciting things that I've seen that are kind of beautiful to me is when art and design faculty and students team up to lead chapel, when they get together and lead it together in ways. I think there's some beautiful things that happen there too. And students lead that chapel quite often as well.
So AC is very committed to providing students with experiences as well out of the classroom. Taking you out of the classroom is critical to learning and deep learning. Art and design, I think, is very unique. I believe in that much of their work is hands-on and very experiential. But there's a lot of ways we go about that at ACU, through missions, through study abroad, through internships, through research, and bringing our students alongside our faculty. Very teaching-focused university, and of course in art and design, there's that element of mentorship that happens between the faculty. Kate, do you mind talking just a little bit about your experiences of opportunities out of the classroom where you've been able to learn and grow that you want to highlight?
So I try to frequent the Maker Lab we have here on campus pretty often. That's been a great way to just get more into the fine art realm of my major, and just kind of learn how to use the tools in there and utilize the people, and just make things myself. That's been really nice. And then another thing would probably have to be just like getting more information and getting out there and getting more knowledgeable about your realm of learning and just all of that. Would probably have to be study abroad, getting to go to San Francisco. That was a big thing for me that we did this spring break. And that was really enjoyable, just getting to be in what you're going to be in after you graduate, and just really seeing what the workforce is going to look like, and becoming kind of more familiarized with how all of that is going to work. And it was really fun, and I just fell in love with that trip, and I wish I could go back.
Travel is definitely an important aspect to the ACU experience. So we have 3 study abroad sites at ACU, not at ACU, but with ACU, that are abroad in Leipzig, Germany, Oxford, England, Montevideo, Uruguay, where we send students year-round to study with faculty and to live with their students and peers. So I'm going to ask Mike to share a little bit more about the study abroad program at ACU, and also specifically study abroad as it relates to being an art and design major.
Yes, so study abroad is extremely important to our department. We actually have a study abroad requirement that students have to fulfill at some point through their 4 years. Now that requirement can get fulfilled in all kinds of different ways. I'll talk about a few of them. We have, within the department, we have 2 different international study abroad trips that we take. One is a 7-week trip to Oxford and Italy. It's in Oxford, England. We're based in Oxford. We take several trips from there, many times going into London, and we'll take an overnight trip to Northern England. And then we head from there after 3 weeks to Rome. We spend a week in Rome, and then we spend 3 weeks in Florence, Italy, and take some trips from there as well. That's an incredible trip. The kind of community that gets built on those trips is extremely important. Then on alternating summers, we do a 3-week trip now to Germany. On the Germany trip, they get students take a painting class. And then on the 7-week trip, students actually take a photography class, a painting class, and an art history class. So students get 9 hours of credit on that trip. In addition to those international trips, we do 2 different domestic trips. We do a spring break trip to New York City, where we take students and we visit design firms, both interior design and graphic design firms, depending on the majors of the students. And they go and they see all of the different environments that they might be working in. New York City is a great place. It's kind of a one-stop shop where you can see all kinds of different things. We're going to show a video here in a second about that. I'll also mention a San Francisco trip that we do, where we visit tech firms. Primarily that's a graphic design trip now. But both of these sites, New York and San Francisco, are really international sites. These are international centers for the disciplines that we're teaching, and that's why we're taking students there and also counting it as a study abroad and kind of a more international trip. These are kind of global sites. But I think we do have a video to show you about the New York trip, which will give you a sense of why we do this.
Every other year, we take a group of students to New York City for various studio tours. We visit small branding studios. We visit large interactive agencies. And we also have visited some in-house creative teams as well. So exposing our students to all those different types of design hopefully gives them some direction once they come back to ACU. New York City is the design capital of the United States, if not the world. So we are able to meet with some of these creatives that are doing international work, significant work that is making an impact. For the students, seeing jobs like this, kind of the behind the scenes work, is really exciting for them.
It was just an explosion of things to be inspired by. Prior to the trip, I was fairly set in what I wanted to pursue in a career. And going to New York and being introduced to all this variety kind of expanded my perspective and got me excited to do a million different things that I didn't even realize were things to do.
It's no longer, they don't see classroom work as projects, but they see them as opportunities. And they see how that kind of ties into what they could be doing in the future.
One of the things I love about that video is Tan, the student, kind of talks about going on that trip with the sense of I know what I want to do, but coming back from that trip with her eyes open to the opportunities that she didn't realize she had. And so it's a way for understanding students to understand oh my goodness, there is so much more possible out there than I realized. And so Study Abroad, I think, does a great job of opening students' eyes to the wider possibilities that are out there.
It is very true that seeing the world, traveling, being immersed in your field and areas of study is going to always expose you to different opportunities and ideas. We've had some great questions coming in that we're going to start trying to get through and answer as best we can. And I think this one's really appropriate for Kate to answer and talk a little bit about, since she's a graphic design major. There's some questions about what all career can you do with graphic design as a major. Some think maybe they can only work in advertising. There's a wide array of possibilities. So Kate, if you don't mind talking about your major, what your career aspirations are, and I know they're going to change, because they always do, but if you'll share that with us.
So there is a lot you can do. Like you said, you can do advertising, I'm BFA, so I'm fine art. And you can do a ton with that. So you could go into illustration, you could do animation, you could do strictly graphic design, you could do graphic ad, you could work at an ad firm, you could even do sculpture if you wanted to, you could do a whole slew of things. And then probably some aspirations I have for myself. I've just had this in my head for the longest time. I would love to be a creative director at a firm. That's just always really appealed to me, and just getting to be the person that kind of gives the direction for each project and is kind of the guy that has, or the girl that has the backbone, and just kind of encourages everybody and brings everybody together as a team. And leadership is something that I firmly believe is really important to have at a firm, and just something that is really gonna kind of take your life in a really good direction with graphic design, whenever you can kind of take charge of projects and really just grab hold of them and do something really good and creative, and do some strong work with them. So I would have to say it would probably be creative direction for me.
Good luck with that. I think you'll be an excellent director in that role. There's some questions coming in about photography, Mike, about how can students include photography into their major? Is it required? Is it not required? And what are those options? Do you mind talking a little bit about photography and that element of art?
Yes. So we have Neil Santana is our photography teacher. He's an incredible photography teacher. And he teaches our two primary photography classes. And so students that come here with a strong interest and emphasis on photography, a common path that they take is they will become a graphic design major. And just so you kind of understand in the field, so who the person in the world who's most often hiring photographers to do advertising or work, you can imagine a photograph on a book cover. A graphic designer is typically the one hiring the photographer and kind of directing him. And so a student interested in photography will often be a photography major, and that Bachelor of Fine Arts in graphic design has a lot of freedom within it outside of all the design classes to take other fine art classes. And so students will definitely take both the photography classes, but they might also get involved in independent studies with Neil, going further with their photography skills. And we've had many design students who will graduate and go get full-time positions just as photographers after they graduate. And so it's certainly an exciting field, but most often they'll kind of enter into it through the graphic design field and take as much photography as they can and build a portfolio. Students definitely graduate with a photography portfolio in addition to their graphic design portfolio.
Preparing students for leaving ACU is also a big part of our work. Between the Career Center, internship opportunities, and the way you build that portfolio as an art and design major is really critical. We want to prepare you to meet your goals when you leave ACU. That is definitely a big part of who we are as a university. Kate, several have asked just about being a student at ACU, about being involved. What does it mean to be a student here? So if you don't mind just talking about your student experience as well, I think that would be helpful.
So, being a student here is, first of all, it's the best thing ever. I love it. And I'm a part of a women's social club on campus called Sigma Theta Chi. And that has been a big blessing for me. But I mean, past clubs, there's so much more that you can be a part of on campus. Like, you can be part of things like in the department, you can be part of AIGA or ASID. And you can do things like be in the BSA. There's just so many organizations and clubs on campus for you to become a part of and really get involved. And I think that's something that ACU is really good at pushing and kind of catering to what the students really want, and they listen to them, and just like the clubs that they want to begin and the clubs they want to be part of, and just getting really good at getting information out about that and making everybody feel like they're welcome and are available to just come be a part of anything, and it's great.
Yes, there's over 100 clubs and organizations at ACU, as Kate said. She's a part of several, and I can attest to everything from camping and canoeing to art. There's a club for everybody, a place to belong, find your people and community. And we're kind of just that right size where you're not a number, you're definitely a face and a person and valued in our community with many, many opportunities to be a part of organizations. And we bring students to us from all over the world, all over Texas and all over the United States. So it's a great, rich community to find friendships that truly span a lifetime. Several of you were asking questions about applying for admission to ACU, but also into the art department. So I'm going to talk about applying to ACU, but then ask Mike to follow up on what it means to be a part of your department, and do they have to complete a portfolio, for example. So applying for admission to ACU is an important step in making known that you're even considering ACU for your higher education career. And many of you with us today are just now becoming seniors in high school. You've finished up your junior year virtually, unfortunately, and I know you're eager to return back to your senior year of high school, as we are too. And so July the 1st, the application for admission will open up to ACU, and you'll be among the very first invited to apply by being with us today. And the application to ACU includes a couple of things. This year, we are allowing for test optional admission. So if you were not able to take that ACT or SAT or the CLT, the classical learning test, we do consider all three of those for admission, but this year you can choose to apply test optional. And then you will also you'll need to submit to us your high school transcript. We really do look at your high school transcript. We're really looking at how have you performed in and out of the classroom year over year. And we're also really looking at that application. We want to get to know you students. We want to see if you're a good fit for ACU as well. And if you do apply test optional, you will still be considered for scholarships, but want to point out that if you are interested in being in the Honors College or receiving consideration for our most prestigious academic scholarship, the Presidential Scholarship, you will need a test score sent in. So you can apply in July and just wait for that test score if you're waiting to take the test in the early fall. We will hold on to that application until we get those test scores from you. So want to point that out, make sure you are aware of that application process. So Mike, if you don't mind talking just a little bit about, are there additional requirements to be an art major at ACU? Do they need a portfolio like some schools do?
Yeah. We actually do not require a portfolio to get into the program. If you're accepted to ACU, you can be accepted into the art and design program. That's very similar actually to most schools in regards to art and design. We do offer scholarships that are portfolio based though. So we encourage students as they come to ACU to bring up their portfolios. In the first week of classes, freshman year, we send out a call for portfolios, and students submit those, and we review all those portfolios and offer a variety of scholarships, usually 3 to 4 different scholarships between $500 and $1,000 in that regard.
Always good to get scholarships, most definitely. And know that our office and our admissions counselors are always here to work with you students to provide you with those opportunities. A couple of questions came in about ACU TV, which is awesome. Giving a shout out to where we're at right now, which is our ACU TV studio, which right now we have students helping us run this production today, which is amazing. It's an incredible hands-on opportunity for our students to help support the work that we get to do with you right now virtually. So ACU TV is actually not a part of the art and design department, though they share building space. They are part of the journalism mass communication department. But I will tell you, ACU TV welcomes students from across majors and disciplines to be a part of their production and to work with them. So keep that in mind. If you think this is fun and exciting, definitely an opportunity for you to consider working. And there's lots of internships. There's lots of ways for students to plug into the Abilene community, into the arts and into internships. You know, Mike, a couple of questions have come in around internships even right here in Abilene. You know, we are in Abilene, Texas. We're not in San Francisco or New York, kind of the meccas of art and design. But it's a need everywhere. And so I think if you could speak to the way our students are able to work and even have internships and opportunities here in Abilene would be helpful.
Yeah. Yes, there are actually, I think it's surprising to students how many opportunities there are in Abilene, but particularly on campus. There are interior design and graphic design and architecture opportunities across campus. At any given point, I think we will often have 12 to 15 different graphic design positions across the campus where students have opportunities to apply and get jobs while they're on campus. Creative Services, which is in charge of a lot of the publications that go out for ACU and different design things that you might receive from ACU. And so they hire 3 to 4 different graphic design majors at any given point just within their department alone. And so yeah, there's plenty of opportunities across campus. You can imagine we have lots of different construction projects going on campus at different times. And so they hire architecture students and interior design students to help out in that capacity as well. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's great to work with our students and see their talent, and helping them develop that talent even right here for ACU is exciting. And I think part of it being in a smaller city, in a town, our community reaches out to us asking for students for their work with their business, their local small businesses. They need new logos created. I can't tell you how many times I get those requests, even just passing people in the grocery store. Do you know a student that can fill in the blank? And so there's lots of opportunities for that for you to consider. So some questions have come in about the senior showcase aspect. So our art students definitely get to have a senior showcase to showcase their work. It's one of my favorite things to come and see of our art students. There was a couple that I sadly missed as we had to move into a virtual space, which was really, really disappointing because it is one of my favorite traditions during the spring semester especially. But Kate, if you want to talk just a little bit about what you've seen in the showcase or in the art gallery, then Mike, if you want to kind of follow up with what's required and what that looks like.
Yeah.
So I think probably one of my favorite senior shows to start was probably one that 2 people I know, Tan Johnson and Travis Mack, did. And their show is just phenomenal, just the way they set it up, the amount of work that they had in their stuff. And it's like, it is a whole slew of different things. You can put, like Mike was talking about earlier, you can put things like photography in there. If you've got some sculpture you're proud of, ceramics, there's just so much you can put in there besides your graphic design work if you are a graphic design major. And I think that is also just a real comfort for underclassmen and me even so, just to be able to see like it is possible to get to this level by your senior year and to be able to produce things that you feel genuinely proud of and that you want in your portfolio and that you want businesses to see. So senior shows are probably one of my favorite things too. Just getting to see it on our art and design page and getting to see it in person has been a really great thing.
Excellent. Mike, if you don't mind just sharing with us
Yeah.
your perspective on that.
So every art and design major is required the last semester that they're on campus to put on a senior show, and what that really involves is you team up with 4 or 5 other students that are seniors, and you have a show in the gallery, and you put the work in that show that you've created over the 4 years. And so if you're a freshman on campus, there'll be a Friday night sometime in the spring that you'll be invited to come to a senior show, and you get to go and see the work of seniors that they've produced over the 4 years that they're here. And it's always a super fun event. There's food, and sometimes they might bring in a band to play at those events. And it's just kind of an exciting time where seniors invite their friends and their family and the entire department, and we come in and we get to see all the work that they produced over the 4 years. It can feel, I think, as a freshman, kind of intimidating to see that work. But I think what's really kind of beautiful is by the time you're a senior, it's something students are wanting to do, and they're excited to do it. It is a lot of work, but it's an opportunity for students to really show what they've done and to celebrate with their friends and their family. And we have kind of a blessing time at the end of that. And it's honestly one of the most, every time I leave a senior show, it's always kind of touching and really a beautiful moment to share with friends and family and the students themselves.
I love the way we support our students and journey with you throughout your entire ACU career and time. Some of you have asked questions about high school, work that you could be doing in high school to prepare, and you use your time to take those elective classes in art. AP Art is a great path to pursue, but also be assured that if you haven't done that, that's okay too. There are ways to be preparing for and considering different career aspects of creativity within the art and design major and fields of study. I know that definitely if you're pursuing or considering architecture or interior design, for example, those are a little more on the mathematics side, and some people don't think about that. And so I always encourage students, regardless of major, do your best to stay involved in those math and science courses. They really do help support you easing into your college years more prepared than students that get that bare minimum in that math and science and kind of back off your senior year. So I know some of you that are going into that senior year are trying to contemplate, do you really want to stay in that math class? Stay in it. It's going to help you. It's going to really help you be supported while you are with us on campus. It was more than anything great to be with you virtually today, and we really want to see you on campus. I hope that you, after being with us, want to come to this campus and visit and see the art and design department, to see the work that's being done by our students, to meet Mike and his colleagues. The faculty in our art and design program are, I believe, some of the very best, and what makes them stand apart and unique is their commitment to faith and learning in the classroom in the arts. So please do come visit us on campus. We're grateful for your time with us today, and we hope to see you soon. Have a great week.